Why is tradwife content suddenly blowing up?
Because people my age that were traditional wives are getting divorced.
Hey beautiful people, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome back to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing great. So today's video, it is an interesting video as always. But before I get into this video, guys, I know I look weird. I have my face look ashy. That's because your girl is sick. I had caught chicken pox and I've been under the weather. So if you see me touching, scratching, I'm moving funny, your girl is going through it. Okay, I have chicken pox. Anyway, let's get back into the video. So today's video, we want to talk about tradwife. And this video is a video started off by tradwife talking about why tradwife is more popularized now on social media and why it's needed on social media. And this has struck a bigger conversation with even the real tradwife, like women in their 50s and their 40s that have actually lived the trad life to come and share their story. So apparently this younger woman does the tradwife aesthetic thing. I call it aesthetic, and I'll let you know why I call it the aesthetic thing later on in the video. Came to explain why the tradwife is being popular now, because there's a gap. Women don't want to work. Women are burnt out. They need to start educating younger girls to be a homemaker and da 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 da. Anyway, guys, I need you guys to check out this video because this video has struck a very amazing conversation. I need you guys to check out this video, then we'll come back and talk more.
Why is tradwife content suddenly blowing up? The so-called tradwife trend, I believe, is blowing up. Well, first let me explain that the tradwife lifestyle is not a trend. It is not trendy to be a traditional wife. This has been done since the beginning of time. However, content showcasing this lifestyle is becoming trendy and popular. Thus, the tradwife is trending right now, if that makes sense. Some of the reasons I believe that tradwife content is trending: one, because we have a culture that is trying to blur the distinction between being a man and a woman. Two, it is more popular to have two providers in the home rather than one provider and one homemaker. Three, we have a whole generation of women who are burnt out at their career and they are tired of being a provider and a homemaker when they come home from their job. Four, fast food is far more common to eat, and pre-made and processed food rather than food from scratch, which is why you will see these made from scratch creators getting more popular. 5, basic homemaking skills being taught to young girls in the home has skipped a generation. Thus, we have a whole generation of women that are hungry to learn these basic skills, and they are looking to the internet to teach them these skills. Okay. This is what happens when the pendulum swings so far one way. It has to come back down. And a lot of people believe the tradwife movement is an overcorrection to modern feminism. I do not believe that. I believe the tradwife movement is bringing balance back to families. Anyways, those are some reasons I believe that tradwife content is blowing up all of a sudden. Bye.
Please go down in the comment section and share your thought. Love to know what you think about what she said down in the comment section. Do you think that the tradwife is needed, like women, why they are going into this? Okay, love to know your thought. This video has struck a big conversation of the real tradwife actually coming to share their experience and giving tips and tricks to the younger girls, what they should look out for, what they should do as being a tradwife. These are women that have actually been a stay-at-home mom, be the homemaker, the tradwife, and they are here to share their story. I know that some people are here for it, some people are not here for it, but for me, I really find this conversation very interesting because I see the tradwife online as an aesthetics. Anyway, I have so much to say about this, but I want to know your own thought down in the comment section. So let's go check out what people have to say about this. Then I'll come back and share more of my thoughts.
Why is tradwife content suddenly blowing up?
Because people my age that were traditional wives are getting divorced and realize that they threw 20 years of optional, available, could have been energy into the workforce, into their future. They threw that away doing laundry and watching their kids. Now, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't trade staying home with my children for anything. However, I would have insisted on some sort of investment into my future, either by way of a 401k, an IRA, a home in my name, or I would have had to have some sort of side gig where I could have put that on a resume if anything happened to my husband or our marriage. And so people my age, women that are in their 40s and 50s, that have raised their children, who have been traditional wives, are coming forward and talking about the realities of that. Because someone like my grandmother, who couldn't have left her husband no matter what, because she went from high school and her parents into being a stay-at-home wife and mother, she could never have left, ever. And so I, being 51, I am like one of the first or second generations of women being traditional stay-at-home wives who are coming out and saying, don't do this to yourself. And so trad wife content is becoming super popular right now because what's happening is the trad wife is glamorizing staying home and being a homemaker and a stay-at-home mother, which again, there's nothing wrong with that as long as you talk about the fact that if your husband dies, you're screwed, like triple double screwed. I have a family member that if her husband died or left her tomorrow, she would be a stay-at-home wife, broke on her ass with 4 kids and no way to support herself. Or if he died, she's completely screwed. And for all of you out there that say, just marry a really good man, that's great and all, but what if you're sick of this really great man? What if he dies? What if he becomes like incapable of going to work? It's not that trad wife content is extremely popular right now. Everyone's being mean. What's happening is that we are the second generation of women coming forward to say, quit being so goddamn stupid and protect yourself. 50% of marriages end in divorce. And while he's making $100,000+ a year, you have no skills, no career, no resume, nothing. Except for kids and a dog and God knows what else. You'll be living in an apartment while he's got his new 20-something in his penthouse or the family home. So good luck. This content isn't becoming popular because we're mean. This content is becoming popular because you're glamorizing a lifestyle that you have known nothing about. You know nothing about. You're just a baby trad wife, and that's okay too. And by the way, I'm not angry or bitter. I own an island and a Porsche. I have an amazing husband, but don't get it twisted. My kids were eating 99-cent pizzas when I was a single mom. We didn't go on vacation, and we had no money to go to Burger King. It's not bitterness, it's reality. If you get traded in, that's all there is to it. Your entire life is dependent on whether or not he still likes you.
Period.
Good luck. Or the family home. So good luck.
Listen, there's a lot of people in my life who think that I am an absolute party pooper because when I see young couples getting married, instead of just saying congratulations, I have to sit down and talk about financial autonomy and making sure that the female is supported in the relationship as much as the male is, and how are you going to co-raise those children together, and what's the exit strategy. And that's not a particularly romantic thing to ask a young couple when they're about to tie the knot. But I really wish that somebody had had those conversations with me. When I was 20 years old, I got married to a smoking hot Mormon returned missionary, and he promised to love me forever, not just till death do us part, for time and all of eternity. And he was a liar, but I didn't know that when I was 20. So I dropped out of college and gave up my job and had the babies and stayed home for 24 years of my life. And if you're new to me and you don't know what happened, at age 44, about 6 years ago today, I caught him picking up a 19-year-old escort. How do I know she's 19? Because that's what he had typed into the Google search, 19-year-old escort Phoenix, before he chatted with somebody on, I think it was Backpage, arranged a meetup, which I had caught on his phone, and followed him up there the next night. 2 days after, my husband abandoned me and our 4 kids for a 19-year-old escort, I went to Trader Joe's to buy myself a bag of groceries, swiped my card, and it was declined. I should have had a ton of money in that account, and it was all gone. It was gone. My name had never been on one of our homes. My name hadn't been on our vehicles. My name wasn't on the Mercedes that I was driving at the time that our marriage ended. He was able to evict me from the condo that we were renting together because I didn't even exist on the lease, not even as a roommate, not even as a pet. He just canceled the lease. I was just some weirdo living in the condo that Jake had canceled, and so the apartment evicted me. I'd always kind of thought in my head too, like, being a homemaker gives me a lot of skills that I bet would translate into a job. So I right away put together a resume, talked about all of the work that I had done in our family businesses, and went out and started interviewing for jobs. And there was not a person in this entire fucking world who wanted to hire a 44, 45, 46-year-old who had been a stay-at-home mom since the time she was 20. So my first and actually only job that I had after my divorce was $11 an hour, working as an assistant in an elementary school classroom 4 hours a day. You did the math, $44 a day. The only reason that my rent is paid this month is, first of all, my TikTok followers are constantly supporting my content, and I have 3 separate jobs: sales job, furniture flipping business, and I'm still working my Mormon essential oils MLM. I work 7 days a week. I have no retirement. I live in a family member's guest house that they could sell at any moment. I've only existed in the credit world for about 4 years, so I can't finance anything. And it just kind of pisses me off that I went into my marriage thinking that I had a 100% success rate. I didn't have an exit strategy. I didn't have any way to support myself if things went south, and here I am. So I've been living this out on camera for the past 3 years, and I don't plan to go anywhere. I'll keep you posted. Let's see how it ends. Would have been better if I had made different decisions in the beginning, and I wish that somebody had told 20-year-old me that a man is not a plan. Never has been, never will be.
Why is tradwife content suddenly...
This may be a touchy subject, but if you are a stay-at-home mom and your significant other goes out and works to pay the bills, what I want to say to you, sis, somehow, some way, you need to make sure that you acquire some financial independence. Whether that be your significant other allocating money to a retirement in your name alone, allocating money to a bank account in your name alone, or you cultivate some element of generating income for yourself. Now, it is beautiful to be a stay-at-home mom. It is beautiful to be at home and taking care of the property in which your family occupies. It is wonderful. But the reality is that you need to be taken care of regardless if that partner is in your life or not. Whether that partner chooses to leave, whether that partner passes away, or whether that partner decides he wants to be with someone else because the 20-year-old looks nicer than the 40-year-old. Whatever the case may be, I want you to be protected. So if you want to be a stay-at-home mom, wonderful. Figure out how you can generate income for yourself while you do it. All right, take care.
Why is tradwife content suddenly blowing up?
Because people my age.
I hate to say it, but this is coming from a bitter perspective as well.
Okay.
We all know when you get married or when you get in a relationship, both genders take chances on love. I hate the fact that this happened to these women, but that's not every woman's situation. And it's funny that they're trying to spread their bitterness to everyone around them, but yet they were married to these men. They're telling you young girls not to get married, but yet they're married and look like they're living pretty good to me. I feel like a lot of this information that a lot of women are giving to other younger women is not coming from a good place. It's coming from see, it happened to me, so it can happen to you.
Exactly.
Okay, it happened to you. Great. Or not great. But doesn't mean it's going to happen to them because it happened to you. We have to stop making our situation other people's situation. Social media only gives bitter perspectives. And that's it.
Blowing up.
Because people my age that were traditional wives are getting...
Not my typical content. I might delete this in 5 minutes, but I got married in my early 20s, and on my wedding day, in my white dress, my mom's advice to me was, there's always divorce.
Why is tradwife content suddenly blowing up?
Because people my age.
If you are a traditional housewife, you have absolutely many transferable skills. It is all in how you put it on your resume.
Okay.
So create a job title, household manager, domestic engineer, provide dates that you were a housewife, List responsibilities and skills, focusing skills on your accomplishments that you gained during your time as a stay-at-home parent. Use bullet points like managed household finances, coordinated family schedules, making appointments and organizing activities for children, oversaw meal planning and cooking to ensure healthy and balanced meals for the family, led and participated in PTA, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, fostering community engagement and teamwork, planned and organized family vacations, including the logistics, any accommodations, all your itineraries that you planned, provided emotional support and guidance to family members, and emphasize on your transferable skills and highlighting things like project management, organization, budgeting, problem solving, communication, leadership. These skills are valuable in many other professional settings. Tailor your job to customize your resume for each job, including an application where you emphasize the skills and experiences that are most relevant to that specific job that you're going to apply for, and showcase any of your achievements. If you happen to have been Parent Volunteer of the Year, if you happen to have been Girl Scout Troop Leader, whatever, but go with that and keep it professional. Bullet pointed professional skills. You can Google how to do that in a professional resume writing course. Just because you were a stay-at-home parent does not mean you didn't have any skills or transferable skills.
Really?
Because people my age that were traditional wives are getting divorced.
My mom was a stay-at-home mom for a majority of my life, and I didn't realize that she was not prepared until my parents got divorced. I want to say my parents got divorced when I was like 10. And when that happened, my dad was the breadwinner. He was a very educated man, and my mom was a community college dropout. She just had her high school education. She did little side gigs here and there, but she didn't have any work history. And then she suddenly found herself in a house that she could not afford with 2 children and no income coming in. I watched my mom struggle for years to make ends meet and rely on child support and different boyfriends and different husbands, and then watching her just struggle for years financially because she was not set up and she had such a large gap in her work history and just didn't have full-time job experience. We struggled, and then my mom was also terminally ill on top of that, and she couldn't afford anything, and because she couldn't afford her own medical bills, she lost her kids. My dad ended up taking us, and I did all of my high school living with my dad, which was fine, and he was great, but he was also financially set up and was able to financially and physically provide for the kids. And my mom was disabled and very terminally ill and did not have any way of working or bringing in any sort of income. And that's really tough to watch. I'd like to think that she would have had, if she would have had some sort of education buffer or job experience buffer, that she would have just been able to be better set up in life. But instead, she passed away, her only income being disability. She lived in a 1-bedroom apartment for the disabled. And she died with nothing and no money, and she couldn't set up her kids in any way. And I don't hold that against her, but I do value the lesson that she taught me, which was that you have to be able to set up for yourself. It's just really hard, in this day and age. Yeah, working a 40-hour-a-week job, getting sexually harassed at work, and just being belittled because you're a woman sucks. And I would much rather be at home taking care of my house and taking care of just my household. But the security that having a job and an education brings me, it also levels the playing field with me and my partner in a lot of ways. I don't know, just food for thought. I watched my mom struggle for years and years and years, and I watched her depend on men and different boyfriends for income so she could take care of her children, and I just never want to be in that situation. So
Why is tradwife content suddenly blowing up?
It's become a popular topic because women my age and older that have gotten divorced and thrown decades of their lives down the toilet, doing the laundry and dishes, they're trying to warn you. You and accounts like you are intentionally dancing around the point. We're trying to tell you why this content is harmful. And I sincerely hope that you listen. You are not a traditional wife. You are on the internet and you work. Those of us who are actual stay-at-home moms that were traditional wives and mothers, we didn't have that luxury. There's no 401k in our names. The difference between you and the people that you're trying to make content for, if it's even women at all, which I kind of doubt, is that they are actual stay-at-home traditional wives and you're not a tradwife. You make money on the internet and they don't. If they find themselves a single mom with no 401k and decades missing from their resume with no current skills, no money in the bank, and not even a car in the driveway, their outcome is going to be quite different than yours with you making money from content. For the 12 years that I was a stay-at-home mother, not working at all, I became completely irrelevant in my field of information technology. The technology advanced and I and my skills did not. I didn't pay into Social Security for those years. There's 12 years missing there. And my prospects in the actual W-2 job market looked like this: working in an insurance or IT call center, making not enough money to be able to feed my children. What if your husband dies? Exactly. The other thing that you're not addressing here is the fact that, and this is what makes it quite tone deaf, many families right now have to have 2-income households. And when you tell them it's better to be a stay-at-home mom and show them all the glamour behind it and how wonderful it can be for your children, your husband, your marriage, you're reminding them they can't afford it. One of the particular things that I take issue with in your content is the way that you tell women what to wear. And you even double down on it and say that your daughter will not be able to wear leggings, and you hope in so many words that your son would want to choose a woman who dresses like a lady. Content like this sets us back about 50 years. There might come a day, Estee, if you have children, where you're home with 3 under 3. Little Timmy is sick, the baby's got colic, the toddler finger painted all over the walls, you haven't showered yet, dinner is burning, so you're considering dominoes, and you're going to look back on these days and these content if you don't hire help, and you are going to shake your head because, my dear, you don't know what you're talking about. And I say this with love. There will come a day where he will come home from work and the house will not be clean, dinner will not be homemade, and you will not be wearing that dress. If 2020 showed us anything, it showed us what can happen when an entire family has an illness and what happens to mom. I can tell you I did not rest. All of our children needed to be fed, dishes needed to be done, my kids needed clean underwear, messes needed to be fixed, and I can assure you, no matter how glamorous I look on camera, those were some rough days. When I was 6 months pregnant with my first son, I got walking pneumonia. Wow. I tried to look nice during that pregnancy, but there was really no way. And my second son, I had hyperemesis gravidarum. I'm not sure if you know what the feeling of being belly out pregnant, hurling over the toilet 4 to 8 times per day would look like, but I'm assuring you it's not going to look like that. The raw and honest experience of motherhood was standing in a shower the night of my C-section, staples in, gauze around me, and all I wanted was a shower. Skin hanging and sagging, my feet so swollen from the spinal that I looked like I had dinosaur feet, while my husband kindly washed my hair for me because it's all that I wanted. When you get older, and if you have children, you might start to understand that the most beautiful parts about having a family and motherhood and womanhood in general are the parts, indeed, that are not aesthetically beautiful. That if you build your bond with your spouse based on what you look like and being presentable and what you can give him at all times, and the appearance, you're shortchanging yourself. Some of the most beautiful women that I know have been cheated on by their husband that, to me, look beautiful at all times and put together. So as a woman of experience, I can also tell you, as an older woman, that the women that I've known in my life that make such a big deal out of having a perfect and beautiful marriage are generally the ones whose marriages are the most messed up. They don't talk about it. It's like they're trying to convince themselves that things are going well when they're not. You base your marriage on how beautiful you look at all times. What about what happens if he doesn't find you beautiful like that anymore and attractive? Because right now, without a backup plan, without a job, completely submitting yourself to this man with no other anything, this advice that you're giving people, you're basically telling them that their ability to eat and take care of their own children will be based on whether he still loves you tomorrow. Good luck.
So let me know down in the comment section what you think about the child wife and all that. Do you think that the women that are saying that they are child wife and trying to advise younger girls not to go into that route, do you think that they are bitter? Do you think that child wife is not something that women or younger girls should aspire to be and all that? Please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this conversation, okay? But please keep it respectful as always. Before I go on with the video, I just want to say, if you guys have any remedy for chicken pox, please plug your girl, because I'm in hell right now. I'm just trying to pull through with this video, but I'm in hell. Please, 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 your girl needs help. You can leave it down in the description. I know it's out of this topic, but please, I need you guys' help. Okay? So here's my own thought on this. First off, I feel personally that the trad wife is tease and aesthetics. And these are women that comes up, they have their hair done, nails done, makeup done, like they are ready and they are making everything from scratch. And sometimes just got me thinking, like, do we still have 24 hours together? Like, is it the same 24 hours I have that the time is never enough for me to do everything I need to do that you think you have, and you're doing all these things, making food from scratch, cereals from scratch and all that. And like the other lady, like the last lady pointed out, these women, they kind of have job because they are content creators. They are posting our content and they are making money off it. Apart from that, that can also be on their resume because now they know how to film, edit, and they can pitch to brands and all that, and even work in any other place and all that. But the trad wife aesthetics that they are trying to push does not give women, younger girls, that opportunity. And did anybody notice that most times when it comes to this trad wife thing, is usually they pick them young. It's usually a very younger girl to an older man that are probably 6, 7 years, 10 years older than them, and they are not seeing it as anything. So for me, I feel like the trad wife is not something that should be glamorized, and I feel like younger girls should listen to these women that have actually lived the life and they are telling you don't do it. Like the other lady said, I am one of those people that when you come to me and say, oh, you've been married for 10 years, you're with your partner for another 10 years, you've been with your partner for almost 20-something years, like, you should give us great advice. And one of the things I tell them, like, don't do it. That's it. And like the other lady pointed out something, that divorce is always on the table. And I feel like when you have that mindset that divorce is always on the table, it kind of helps you to be on that survivor mode, which is not even a good thing to be in a relationship, but it is what it is. That is what it is. Some people ask me what's the secret of me able to keep a marriage or a relationship for 20, 21 years now. It's because when we decide to get married, one thing we said when we had that conversation was like, there's always divorce on the table. If you don't treat me the way I want to be treated, and I don't feel safe or comfortable with you anymore, or I don't feel love anymore, or I don't feel I'm not okay with the relationship, the marriage anymore, I'm going to walk away. And that was a mutual thing that we had. And every year we need to check it out to, like, you know what, are we still doing one more year? And in my culture and my society, it's a place where people are being told not to speak about the divorce. Like I tell you, once you get married, divorce is not an option. But I feel like that's a valid for thinking about how trad wives or how women naturally are being abused in relationship, both mentally, financially. And I feel like that's the stem that trad wife is. But these younger girls just coming with this old trad wife aesthetic, I just feel like they're just playing house, because the real reality of trad wife, they are not showing you of how these women are being financially abused, how these women are being left dry and all that. I've said this story a couple of times here before. I have the opportunity to have two beautiful women in my life that show me the two sides of life. My grandmom was a boss woman, a boss bee. Okay, she was the woman that has her own money. She has her own thing going. Like I've said it before, my grandmom married 3 times. Like, she stepped out. If you don't treat her well, she's out. She's going. She was protecting herself. Why my mom was the typical trad wife, even though she had a business here and there going, but one of our main primary goal in the marriage was to make sure that we are okay and to take care of us. And with that also lingered to a lot of kind of trauma inflicted to us, especially me as the first daughter, which that's a story for another day. And I saw how both women in my life, two amazing women in my life, how they were living their life and how independent my grandmom is and how dependent my mom is. That my dad was financially, and my mom is going to come for me on this because I know she watched my video, but my dad was my dad is even still now very, very financially abusive, because the only thing he can control you with is money, and that's what he's going to control you. And he always put that fear like you can't go anywhere, nobody's going to take care of you. And because she doesn't have a own, it's usually a stock for her. And those are something I saw, and I knew the path I want to take, including my sisters. And I feel like this is one of the reasons I create this type of content, just to inform more younger girls, more women out there. Like, it's not as nice, it's not as glamorized as it seems. The nitty-gritty of it, like, I don't think most women can take it, but most women will not come to share their story. Like, my mom would never come to share the story ever. She would not. But yeah, I have this friend, I've always talked about her. I've talked about her before, that her husband provides for her 100%. She's a stay-at-home mom. Everything. The husband literally buys her a new car every birthday, like literally. But she does not even have one penny to her name. And this has led to a lot of control in this relationship, in this marriage. And there was this incident where our children wanted to change school, and she was like, oh, they have to go to the best schools and all that. So she was talking to me about it, and I was like, oh, that's nice. But what will happen? Why don't you put your children in the school you can afford in case anything goes left? And she was like, what do you want to go left? And I said, what happened if anything happens to your husband die and all that? Can you still provide for the children to attend that school? And she was very, very defensive, very, very angry about it, because I know she was in denial, but she's not ready to have that conversation and that reality check. And you're like, oh, God forbid, nothing's going to happen to my husband. God forbid, are you wishing death on my husband? And I said, I'm not wishing death, but the only thing that was guaranteed to us in this life, when coming to this life, is that we're going to die. And I'm that one friend, if you know me as a friend, my friends that can testify to that, if you know me as a friend, I'm that one friend that I don't know how to sugarcoat things. And my friends, they love me for that. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I'm going to say things the way it is, even though it's the harsh reality. I'm going to say it. So a lot of women just glamorize, oh, I have a provider, and all that, and not really talking about the other side of it, the control part of it, the abuse part of it, the stranded part of it, the fact that your life is hanged on somebody else's decision, what the person chooses to do with their own life. Your life is hung with them. And that's another thing too that made me, I am a working woman. Like, see guys, I am terribly sick, but I'm working now. Like, this is work for me. As much as I love it, it's work for me, but I have to do it because I'm not going to be in that position where any man is going to take advantage of me. And a lot of women, because of the idea that have been sold to us that, oh, we're supposed to be taken care of and all that, we find a man that is taking care of us, we usually forget and don't give foresight to say, you know what if anything happens, because we just want to stay in the moment where things are good and don't look ahead and say, what if anything goes wrong? How do I protect myself? Am I protected in this relationship? Am I protected in this marriage? So they're pushing this old trad wife thing for younger girls. I'm not here for it, and it is what it is. Anyway, guys, please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this conversation down in the comment section. But please keep it respectful. Go on and share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We are begging conversation. So go ahead and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see. And that will be you supporting this channel and this girl here. With that all said, guys, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.